everybody, my name is Dan with Austin Self-Defense, and in this video we're going to be covering footwork, especially in relation to semi-passive stance and fighting stance, which are two of these stances we worked in the prior video, so stick around. What we're going to work right now is going to be in relation to semi-passive stance. Then we'll get into the footwork involved in fighting stance. So from a semi-passive position, which we covered last video, my feet are slightly staggered, my hands are up chest height, fingers facing the ceiling, palms facing forward. This is a non-threatening pose. So anytime I'm moving away from somebody, hey, stay back, leave me alone, I'm in a semi-passive stance. It makes me look non-aggressive. It's the natural stance I would be in if I was backing up. From here, if I was backing up, then my feet would automatically end up slightly staggered. So that's why we start from a staggered position. And if I'm doing this, that means I perceive there to be a threat. Okay, so this person in front of me, maybe they started getting aggressive with me, they started acting angry, and I'm just like, hey, back up, leave me alone, man, I don't want any trouble. So I'm starting to create that distance. But what I have to do as well is I have to start assessing my surroundings and see what else is going on. And the way I do that is to start cutting angles moving outward. So anytime there's a threat, the last thing I want to do, number one, is go straight back, because I don't know what's behind me. I don't know who's behind me. I don't want to trip and fall. And if I start moving backwards, their mentality, just like an animalistic mentality, is to drive forward. Like they always tell you, don't run from a dog. So anytime I'm creating that distance, I cut angles and I'm coming offline. So I'm straight on line with this other person right now. I want to come offline. And when I do that at very strong angles out, at a 45-degree angle out. So let's say in reference to where you are, we're at 12 o'clock. So 12 o'clock, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 directly behind me. I'm going to 4 o'clock, okay? If I'm a right-hander, I'm gonna actually typically go 4 o'clock, but I have that option to go either way to 8 o'clock or 4 o'clock. It's my choice. The environment will dictate which direction I go. So if I have a wall here, I'm naturally going this direction. If I have a wall here, I'm naturally going this direction or some kind of obstruction. But if I'm a right-handed striker, this is going to feel more comfortable for me to go this direction, and that's probably how I'll be training most of the time. So whatever you train in class is exactly how you perform out there in real life scenarios. So if I'm always training to go this way, that's the way I'm going to go out there. So I should really be training both ways, but in reference to this video right here, I'm just going to be working going one direction. So as I create that distance, I'm opening up with my outside foot and I'm pushing off with my inside foot. So as I move this direction here, I'm pushing off with this foot here, and I'm starting to turn my head and turn my shoulders so I can assess everything around me here. Okay, so at this point right now, I see the person in front of me in peripheral vision out here. I see things happening, but I have no idea what's happening back behind me. Now, as this starts to escalate, I also lose peripheral vision. That means all I see is this right here. Our fight or flight response is going to shut everything down as far as peripheral goes, so I lose visual out here as well. So what I have to do as I start to create that distance is I'm going to start opening up by looking and panning this whole area right here with my movement as I step out. But then I've got this whole side here I haven't seen yet either. So I'm going to start on this side of the camera here, and as I move out at an angle, I'm starting to look, but then I look back on this person here. So I don't want to take my eyes off them any longer than I have to, just in case they decide to engage upon me. But I did need to be looking, number one, at where I'm stepping, but also where's the potential threats in this direction as well. So I've covered this direction here, but I still don't know what's back behind me now. So I'm going to pivot on this foot here and swing this one around and then move this direction here. And as I do that, my head's panning this whole area here to cover and see what's on this dead side of me. So as I'm moving around here, I'm looking this direction, then looking back on them and squaring up, okay? So I'm covering footwork, moving out at a very strong angle. I'm turning my body this direction, I'm turning my body this direction as I'm moving so that I can assess the situation and see what's around me. So as I'm doing this footwork, my feet are staying very close to the ground. I am pushing off and moving. I'm not hopping, but what I'm doing by moving in this fashion is my foot is always ahead of my body. So when I'm pushing off like this right here, my foot is ahead of my body. If there's something on the ground, let's say a beer bottle, instead of me stepping on that as I move away, going backwards and go to the ground, because obviously my shoulders will go behind my heels, then I'll actually connect with that with my foot and knock it out of the way. If I'm going towards a wall or a curb or a tire stop or something like that, as I'm moving, because my foot is moving ahead of my body, well ahead of my body, it's way out here, that if I do make solid contact, I have the ability to recover in my stance and not actually go to the ground, versus if my feet are straight under me, if I hit that curb and my body moves across my feet like this right here, I'm going to the ground. So that's another reason why we do this footwork, where it's actually moving out ahead of our body as we move, so that we can make contact with anything that's in our way and prevent us from falling to the ground. So we're staying very close to the ground as we exit. So in recap, everything that we're doing from a semi-passive position, we're creating distance so we can pan our parameters to look for exits of opportunity. I'm looking for other potential threats, and I'm also looking for weapons of opportunity, or I'm making a decision on whether or not I should be deploying. So even if I'm a concealed carry, I have no business pulling that weapon out when I'm in close proximity of this person here. I need to back up, start creating that distance. And of course, I'm also trying to assess, is this really what I should be doing in this situation? Does it warrant me pulling my weapon? So I need to really start creating that distance. It gives me time to start thinking about what are my options here, pulling from memory, anything that I've trained in the past, and making that decision while I'm also panning and looking for all those things we just discussed. So I hope this was helpful. Feel free to leave comments below, and definitely share this with somebody that you think would be interested in this as well. Next coming up is going to be fighting stance, movement from a fighting position. Okay, footwork from a fighting stance. So from right here, we talked about this in the previous video. To get into our fighting stance, you put your heels together, come up on the balls of your feet, turn your heels out, turn your toes forward. Now if you're right-handed, your right foot goes straight back. If you're left-handed, your left foot goes straight back. And I want to make sure it's nice and deep, so I've got that stability front to back. Hands are chin height, elbows down, protecting my rib cage, slight bend on my knees. So my weight is 50-50 weight displacement front to back, and my back heel slightly off the ground. Okay? So from right here, if I'm moving forward, I'm opening up with my forward foot and bringing my back foot with me. So if I move forward, it's here. If I move backwards, if I move sideways, if I move this direction, again forward, backward, sideways, sideways. So you'll notice that every time I move, my stance remains the same. So for a moment in time, my feet come apart, but as they close, they go right back to where they typically were in their wide, deep stance. So I certainly don't want to move this direction and then bring my foot close like this right here, because now I'm out of stance. Likewise, if I'm moving forward, if I move forward, my foot starts traveling inward, now I'm out of stance as well. So I want to make sure when I move forward, I'm moving forward like this right here and keeping that back foot out, so it keeps me nice and stable side to side. Okay, so this is typically movement if I'm in the middle of an engagement. But if I'm trying to enter an engagement, so I'm trying to achieve position in the fight. Let's say they're holding a knife on me and I'm going for a knife defense. I'm trying to achieve optimum position in the fight. Then I have to do something much faster than that. So this movement right here is too slow when I'm trying to make my initial move in, because for a moment in time, you'll notice that when this foot moves to move forward, my body stays where it's at, and then my body moves. Okay, so my foot moves, then my body moves. That is way too slow. I've got to get to my position as quick as I can and get offline. And the way I do that now, instead of opening up my front foot and bringing my back foot with me, now this time I'm actually going to push off my back foot and open up with my front foot, almost like I'm springing forward. Okay, so when I do it this time, I'm actually going to be springing, pushing off this back foot and landing forward. And now we're falling back on reference to 12 o'clock again, like we discussed earlier. So in reference to the clock, there at my 12 o'clock, I want to either go to 11, 10, or 9 o'clock. That's one of my three directions, or 1, 2, and 3, depending upon what my goals are. So in this particular situation, I'm going to 10 o'clock, I'm cutting that angle this direction here, coming offline at a very strong angle in, and I'm moving my body off as well, just in case they try to stab me or throwing a punch. I'm also moving my body to where it makes my body thinner. So if you look from the side, if I'm here and I turn sideways, I'm much thinner. So as I make this movement, I'm also turning my body. And what that does, it puts me in a position on my 10 o'clock of this person here that opens up a medium range weapon, which could be a punch or a palm heel strike or a hammer punch. So again, I'm pushing off this back foot, I'm advancing at a strong angle to 10 o'clock as I'm moving in. And as I'm moving in, I'm also turning my body. And again, I'm landing in my fighting stance, but now I'm turning my body to where I'm facing my target. So I'm going from here to here. And now I'm facing this direction, which should be on the side of their face here. So I'm advancing in versus retreating back, which is what we discussed prior in the semi-passive position. That's the position where we're actually trying to assess the situation. But once we decide it's go time, and we're trying to achieve position in the fight and take this fight over, then we're trying to go as quick as we can, get offline, get in a dominant position to where we can deliver multiple strikes and then get out of there. Now our goal in Krav Maga is not to sit there and go toe to toe and throw blow for blow. It's not a sparring match. We want to go for specific targets, which I'll cover in another video, specific targets, and then get out of there as quick as we can. And typically we're hitting high and we're hitting low. So we are going for targets high and low. So I hope this was helpful for you. We do have other videos coming up as well, like I said, in line with this one here. So please subscribe to this station so that you're first to be notified. If you like this, please thumbs up. And also please share this with somebody that you think might benefit from this as well. And I'm happy that you showed up today. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.